Hey, Journey, we are in John chapter 13, verses 21 to 38 today. And there's a lot going on in this passage. We see Jesus predicting both the betrayal of Judas as well as the denial of Peter. And the words I want to focus on of Jesus are almost ironic in the context of these two disciples failing him. He says in verse 34, "A new command I give you, love one another. As I have loved you, so you must love one another. By this all men will know that you are my disciples, if you love one another." And first of all, was it really a new command? It wasn't new in the sense that, of course, in the Old Testament, we see that God tells people to love your neighbor as yourselves, right? But I think it was new in the sense that maybe this was the first time Jesus told his disciples this in the form of a command. He says, love one another. And then he tells them the degree that he wants them to love each other. He says, as I have loved you, so you must love one another. Wow, that's a pretty daunting challenge, isn't it? I mean, when we think of Jesus's love, which was so sacrificial, so over the top, so beyond what we would normally consider as, just ordinary love. That's a high calling that we are called to, but yet Jesus tells us to do this. He tells us to love one another. In fact, he says, by this, everyone, all people will know that you are my disciples if you love one another. And I think that's just such a powerful truth for us. And when you think that our motto at Journey is love like Jesus, it's directly from this passage, isn't it? Jesus is telling us, hey, just like I have loved you, go and love other people. And I think that's the big challenge for us, isn't it? Every day, how can we love the people around us like Jesus loves them? If we really think about it that way, it's a daunting challenge, and yet that's what God is calling us to do, to love people like he loves them, not to love them because they love us, because of what they've done for us, because they deserve it, but to love them like Jesus loved us. He loved us not because we deserve it, not because anything special that we did. He loved us in spite of all that and gave his very life for us. So he's challenging us to do that for our fellow believers. And yes, I believe beyond that, also people in the world around us as well. So very simple challenge for you and for me today. And that is, how can we love people like Jesus? How can we show the love of Jesus to the people around us, in spite of how they treat us, in spite of what they've done or whether they deserve it or not? How can we love people like Jesus today?